me. I love my fall hat. I'm wearing it, even though it's almost 80 degrees in Texas right now. So annoying. I got back from a trip from Washington, D.C. last week, and it was really fall weather. Crisp, all the leaves were changing and beautiful. There are 2 seasons in Texas, hot and hotter. That's it. Even my son was like, this is so boring here. Everything is still green and it's still warm. I was like, yeah, I know. So even though it's not fall out there, I've got my crisp autumn harvest candle going. Let's just get into the zone. I'm a crazy person. Jeez. Okay. Here we go. Okay, this is gonna be a really fun one. I'm 50 right now. So if I had a time machine and could go back 25 years to my 25-year-old self and give my 25-year-old self some beauty wisdom, what would I say? Or rather, what would I say to most of the 25-year-old women I am seeing out and about? I just got back from a vacation and was around a lot of different people and saw a lot of young girls around. And what would I say if I could just go up to them and say, look, I'm 25 years ahead of you, and I've got some beauty wisdom that I want to impart. What about you? Are you over 40? Do you have a daughter that's in her late teens, early 20s, and you want to impart some beauty wisdom to her? This is the video for you, so let's get started. The first thing that I would tell my 25-year-old self if I had a time machine, or what I would love to tell a lot of these young girls I'm seeing, stop wearing so much foundation. Seriously, too much foundation makeup on your face is so aging, no matter what age you are. Now, I know a lot of really young girls like to wear makeup to look older, but that's a different thing. You want to look a little bit more older, a little bit more mature. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about wearing so much foundation that it is aging to you. And what is aging is heavy makeup, because it calls attention to things that you really don't want to call attention to at any age. It can make the skin look more textured, and it can look really flat and dull, and it's very jarring to the eye. The eye knows the difference between skin that has been covered up with layers of makeup and with skin that is either bare or has very light makeup on. And the difference is the way that light reflects off of our skin. The more makeup that you wear, the more dull and opaque of an appearance that the skin takes on, and light tends to bounce off of the skin a lot differently. And I know we've all seen super young girls walking around with super heavy makeup that basically looks like they took a spatula to their face and they're just like going like this. And I'm telling you, the light does not reflect well off of that, and it just looks really heavy, it looks dull, and it looks opaque, and it doesn't look good. And I would tell them, or I would even tell myself, even if you're trying to cover up something going on with your skin, too much makeup it makes it look so much more textured. You can cover some things up without putting layers and layers. And keep in mind that even if you could say cover up the redness of a pimple or whatever is going on, you will still see the raised texture of whatever imperfection you're trying to cover. So too much makeup just really calls attention to it. So that would be the first thing I would say. Just lighten up on the foundation. You don't have to wear heavy, matte, opaque foundations. You can definitely get away with lightweight tinted moisturizers, lightweight tinted serums. You just don't need a lot of thick, heavy, masky makeup. Because trust me, when you are in your 20s, your skin is going to look the best that it ever will in your entire life. Not to say that you can't be beautiful in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, because hey, I'm 50 and I'm feeling like I'm looking pretty okay. But I'm just saying, like, your skin has the most collagen, the most bounce. It's just really beautiful, and just covering it up and camouflaging it with tons and tons of makeup, you're not really doing yourself any favors. And plus, you're kind of adopting and setting up your mind to think that you need makeup to look beautiful, that you need makeup to look presentable. It wasn't until I was in probably my late 30s when I kind of started getting rid of the idea that I had to have makeup on my face every single time I left the house. Like in my 20s, that was something I would never, ever consider doing. And now it's like, I feel bad for people sometimes if I'm out there scaring them, but I'll go out without any makeup on at all, no lashes, no nothing, depending on what I'm doing. And I really don't care. And, it is what it is. So if you're younger, don't cover your face up and don't feel like you have to cover your face up all the time, because you are a unique, beautiful child of God. And it sounds cliche and it sounds something that people say all the time. And maybe it's just something that they say to make you feel good, even if you feel like you need it. You really don't. You really don't. That would be my best advice. Wear less and see how it makes you feel. And you'll get used to wearing less, so that on the occasions when you do wear more makeup, it's a little jarring. You look in the mirror and you're kind of like, is that me? So that would be my first bit of advice to my 25-year-old self, or all the younger 25-year-olds and younger gals I'm seeing out there. Less foundation, ladies. Less foundation.
Whatever, I do what I want.
The next beauty tip I would give my younger self, or all these younger gals I'm seeing out there these days, don't forget your SPF. But not just for your face. Everyone is starting to get on board with the SPF for your face way more than they did when, say, I was in my 20s. When I was in my 20s, really no one was even talking about skin cancer the way that we do now. And they weren't talking about the benefits of SPF on your face and how that prevents premature aging and pigmentation and sunspots and all that good stuff. So everyone's kind of on board with that. But I'm talking about taking your SPF down to your neck, down to your chest, if you're wearing, a top that goes lower, or on the back of your hands or on your arms, especially when you're driving. That is not really something that a lot of women are doing. And the reason why I know a lot of women haven't really been doing that is because there's a lot of videos out there about like sunspots on and aging on the neck, chest, backs of hands. Those are areas that really tend to get neglected. So when I was in my 20s, I was putting on the SPF, but I was stopping here and I wasn't taking it down to my neck and chest the way that I started to when I was in my 40s. Now, I'm really happy and grateful that I don't really have sunspots. I don't really have a lot of pigmentation on my neck or on my chest. But there are a lot of girls out there that are young that aren't putting on the SPF. They don't realize it. So it's not just our faces that need SPF. It's also our neck, our chest, and the backs of our hands and our arms, especially when we're driving, we're outside. Incidental sun exposure does build up. So if you're younger and you want to prevent premature aging on your neck, chest, and hands, you have to remember to take your sunscreen and apply it daily to those areas. That way you can avoid a lot of headache down the road in having to buy or purchase products to lighten pigmentation and all that stuff. I mean, there are lasers and chemical peels and all types of things that women in my age bracket are doing to try to reverse all of that pigmentation and sun damage that could have been avoided had they just used sunscreen on their neck, chest, and the backs of their hands when they were younger. Now, I didn't start doing it until I would say late 30s, when I really started to train myself to remember, put your SPF on your neck, on the chest, on the backs of your hands. A lot of it does have to do with genetics, yes, but point is, when you're younger, you don't really know what's going to end up happening until you get older. And then if you didn't put the SPF, you're like, oh my gosh, I should have done it, right? So that would be the second piece of advice I would tell my younger self, and I would tell all those gals out there, is don't forget your SPF on your neck, your chest, the backs of your hands. Just thank me later, okay? The third piece of beauty wisdom / advice that I would give my younger self and all these younger ladies out there would be to stop using facial scrubs. I talk about this in a lot of my videos. I will link my Skincare 101 playlist somewhere around here for you. But scrubs. Scrubs are not great for your skin. They just aren't. I don't care if they are made from completely supposedly gentle synthetic beads that won't scratch your skin to an apricot or a walnut facial scrub. They are not good. Scrubs rip and tear up our protective skin barrier. And then when that happens, it takes time for our skin barrier to replenish and restore itself. And our skin barrier is what keeps out environmental pollutants and environmental aggressions. It helps protect itself from the things that we do, like over cleansing and over exfoliating and all that kind of stuff. And so when you're taking something like a facial scrub and you're constantly, like every day on the daily, using it on your skin, you're just ripping up your skin barrier. And I know there's a lot of young girls out there that love facial scrubs. And the reason why I know is because when you go into like the acne section of, say, a Walgreens or a Target or Sephora or any skincare line that has some products kind of geared for like oily or more acneic skin, which is what a lot of younger people have, they always have scrubs, and scrubs are just the worst. Scrubs are a lazy, ineffective way to exfoliate your skin. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops because scrubs just suck. They just really, really do. So I want to tell all these younglings out there that your face is not a bathroom floor, okay? Like, you do not need to be scrubbing your skin. You don't need to be even taking a washcloth and just going to town scrubbing your skin. You don't need to be using buff puffs. You don't need to be using these Clairsonic skincare brushes. Like, all this stuff is just, it's really garbage and it's really just hooey. Like, I am completely okay with super gentle makeup removing cloths that you use in conjunction with a really great cleanser. You're just basically like lifting away the debris, but you're not like getting in there like going to war with your face. It's like you don't need to do that. I always love to say your face, don't scrub it like the bathroom floor or like you're scrubbing your kitchen sink. Unnecessary, totally unnecessary. When you are young, you can still definitely benefit from skin exfoliation, but you're going to be smart and you're going to do it with, say, a liquid exfoliating toner or a nice hydrator or a cream or something, just not a facial scrub. Please, I beg you, I beg you. Well, actually, you know what? I've said this before. Don't throw away your facial scrub. Use it on your elbows. Use it on your feet. Use it on your knees. Use it on your body. Put it in your shower until you use it up. Just don't use it on your face. Don't use it on your face. Don't use it on your face. Just don't. Thank you. The fourth tip that I would give my younger self is all about hair and treating your hair gently. I can remember being in my 20s really mistreating my hair. So there's just basic things that you want to do to be more gentle with your hair when it's wet, and also what you're doing to style. So most young people, they're kind of, they're in a hurry, or maybe they just don't know any better. But when your hair is wet, it is its most fragile. And a big mistake that a lot of young people make, and I know because I see my daughter doing this when I was trying to show her what to do with her hair when she got out of the shower, was you do not start to treat your hair rough when it's wet. Just don't do that. When your hair is wet, it is really fragile to snap and break off. And if you are trying to detangle your hair from the roots all the way down to the ends, that is an almost guaranteed way to do that. You always want to start detangling your hair from the bottom working up. So that's something that I learned later in life that I wish I would have done a lot earlier, because it's harder to detangle from the root going down, and there's a lot more tugging and effort and pulling on the hair that has to happen, and it's just a mess. You don't want to do that. And another thing that you want to do is when you are getting out of the shower, you don't want to take whatever towel that you're using to dry your hair and rub it all over, being really rough with your hair, because that is also really damaging to the hair shaft. It can rough up the cuticle. It just creates frizz. You want to be super gentle. So when you are taking excess moisture out of your hair after you wash it, you just want to press gently. And don't just use a regular bath towel made out of terry cloth or regular cotton. Try a microfiber hair cloth, or try just even an old t-shirt. These types of fabrics absorb a lot of water, and they're a little more, well, I shouldn't say a little, they're a lot more gentle on our hair. So that's a big one. Protecting your fragile, wet hair by being more gentle with it, by the way that you detangle it and the way that you try to remove excess water. That's a real biggie. That's going to go a long way. And when you pick up these really good hair habits when you're young, when your hair is already thicker and probably the best it's going to look in your entire life, when you have these good habits when you're younger, it's going to help you when you're older and you're struggling a little bit more to maintain beautiful hair. Another thing you want to remember when you are younger, or what I would tell my younger self, is lay off all of the hot styling tools like the blow dryers and the curling irons and straighteners and things. Yes, you can use those things, but you want to use those things sparingly. You don't want to use hot tools like dryers and irons every day, day after day. You have to give your hair a little bit of a break in between, and that daily exposure to heat is not doing your hair any favors. And it's a hard habit to break, because if you're used to styling and using hot tools every single day, you just want to keep doing that. But as you get older, that's not really going to be a good thing. So a good rule of thumb is to give your hair at least 72 hours of a break in between hot tools. And you can do that if you are shampooing correctly and using the right shampoo for your scalp. That way your roots, your hair roots, aren't getting oily as quick, so you can go longer in between shampooing, so that you're not washing your hair every day, and so that you're not styling with hot tools every single day. When I was in my 20s, I was washing my hair every day, every other day, and I was always using blow dryers, I was always using straighteners, I was using curling irons, hot rollers. I mean, my hair never really got a break. But now I'm way beyond that. I'm using the right shampoo for my scalp so that my hair isn't getting as greasy as quick, because when I was younger, I wasn't using the right shampoo and my scalp was always greasy. But a lot of that has to do with hormones as well. But if you're using the right shampoo, it'll take care of that. But again, you're not washing as often, or you shouldn't be washing as often, and don't use hot tools as often. I do have a video where I talk about how to treat dull, damaged hair, and I also have a video about how you should be shampooing correctly so that your roots don't get oily as quick, so that you don't have to wash as much, you don't have to style as much, and as a result, your hair is going to look a lot more shiny, it's going to be a lot softer, all the good stuff. So that's what I would tell my younger self. Lay off of the hot tools and stop going to war with your wet hair. Your hair is fragile. It's crying out for your help when it's wet. And if you're mistreating it, it's not a good thing. So just keep that in mind. Develop healthy hair habits when you're young, so that when you're older and it gets harder to maintain beautiful hair, you'll already have half of those self-imposed problems out of the way. The last thing I would tell my younger self, or anyone younger watching this, is this. Stop worrying so much about what other people think, especially regarding your looks. And I know that's sometimes a hard piece of advice to swallow, especially when you're young. And when you're young, you are very insecure. You're insecure about a lot of things. And one of those things is the way that you look. You want to look a certain way. You want to present a certain way. And a lot of times our lack of self-confidence can get in the way of that. But I've learned so much in my 50 years. And one of the big lessons that I've learned is that people aren't judging you as much as you think they are. And if they're the type of person to judge you based on how you look, that's not someone you want in your life anyway. And that is the truth. That's probably going to be the one piece of advice that I'm sure the younger person hearing this won't adopt, but just think about it. Think about how that could possibly be true. How someone who is 50 telling you, look, I know it to be true. So stop focusing so much about what other people think, especially worrying about if someone's judging you based on how you look, because again, those aren't the type of people you want in your life anyway. That's not what's really important. We all know what is really important, right? We all know that being true to ourselves, being good to others, and honoring God, those are the important things in life. So just stop worrying so much about how you look. Stop worrying about how other people are looking at you or what they're feeling or thinking about you. Heck, most of the time, most people are so consumed about what's going on with themselves, both with their appearances or their internal struggles that they're going through. It's like we're all walking around in our own little bubbles, focused on ourselves so much of the time that anything that you think that someone may or may not be thinking about you, it's usually not even true. They really usually don't even care. So that would be the last bit of advice that I would give you. Stay true to yourself. Worry about being a good person and being the best that you can be. And that's going to invite the right type of people into your life, the type of people that aren't going to judge you and aren't going to make you feel less than. I'm thinking of doing some more content like this, and I would love any ideas or anything that you guys want to see. I know there is a ton here on YouTube, but just the fact that you took the time to click on this video and watch all the way through means the world to me. Be sure to like if you liked the video and subscribe if you liked the video. I've been looking at my analytics, and over 80% of the views I am getting are from people who are not subscribed. So if you feel like doing your good deed for the day and making this 50-year-old lady happy by subscribing to her channel, I would love that. So I hope you have a great one. I will talk to you very soon. Bye.